Hello WBE fans, my name is JaCub as always, and welcome to week number 11 of season number 3 of the WBE, where I'm being joined by my recap partner. Why don't you introduce yourself?
How's it going, my WBE people? Dr. Slaking, the Slaking Doctor. Happy to be back doing this. We've had a couple of weeks where nothing's gone up on the channel, so we apologize for that, but it's good to be back recording it.
Exactly, yeah, we had some technical difficulties. Week 10, my computer was hitting the fan, so I want to shout out to Odds Are, Brody. He was one of my friends who helped me fix my computer, so shout outs to you, man. You deserve that. And then secondly, week 9, I don't know, there's worlds going on and everything like that, so it's kind of crazy and stuff. But we're back. We'll have the last few weeks for you guys, and probably the playoff as well, if they're going to have us on for the playoffs. Not really sure, but we'll see. But anyway, let's get started with the first game.
Yeah, definitely. In the first game we have is Uzi Gunner and his Bullet Punch Club taking on Jodor and his Seattle Sea Kings. And Uzi has been one of the kind of, I wouldn't say surprise packages, but for the people that maybe haven't seen him before, he might have turned some heads since taking it over this season, as he picked up another 5-0 win here against Jodor and is really putting together a good run for playoffs. I've been super impressed with Uzi since he's come in. I know he's a coach that you knew about before as well, so...
Yeah, I'm not too surprised, but when I
exactly.
saw that Uzi was taking over for Sacred's team, I was like, yeah, this is not over for this team. This team definitely has a chance of playoffs, even though there is no steel type on the team. I want to just say that. Also, I want to preface that we're only going to be covering 5 games today. I know we didn't state that earlier, but we're only covering 5 games because that's all that was uploaded. The last 2 games being Gator versus Cybertron and Fanatech versus Leo. Neither coaches uploaded. I'm not sure if the games have been played yet or whatnot, but we're only covering 5 games because of that. So we just wanted to get you guys something rather than nothing.
Yeah, and it might be if those games go up late, we might be able to cover them in the next weekly recap or something. I'm not sure exactly how the powers that be want us to do it, but I'm sure we'll be happy to cover any games that we can whenever they're up. So that's not a problem at all. But yeah, back to the Bullet Punch Club and the Seattle Sea Kings. This was a really efficient display by Uzi here. I thought that his prep was just fantastic. The matchup was 100% tough on Jodor. He kind of mentioned that he didn't really have a lot for Mega Aero right off the bat, so it actually began with Jodor leading with his Scarf Infernape against the Mega Aero on Uzi's side and deciding to scarf himself into close combat and loses Infernape turn 1 because he was so afraid of a potential Rock Polish Mega Aero sweeping his team. The one thing I would say is that I didn't see Rock Polish Mega Aero having any kind of matchup at all. I don't know why against such a slow team.
Mega Aero doesn't even get Rock Polish.
Well, there you go then. I didn't even know that, but I just couldn't figure out why you would want it against a team with Alomomola, Avalug, and these kind of things.
It does get Rock Polish, yeah. Wait, yeah, I don't understand why it does get Rock Polish. People just never run it because Polish is just better.
Yes, exactly.
Outspeeds everything anyway. I was like, huh? I was like, when does it get Rock Polish? Because I just have never noticed that ever. But yeah, it does get Rock Polish.
And I don't even know if at that point the CC damage was even that valuable if it was going to be that kind of a set. But the one thing I would say is that Jodor kind of commented that he felt like he didn't have anything in prep that he could bring for the Mega Aero apart from like a Scarf Manectric, which he felt was pretty bad in general. But I think sometimes you kind of have to. If you only have one thing on your whole roster that stops you getting 6-0'd by a specific Pokemon, then you kind of have to bring that one thing, or you have to come up with something really creative.
You could have brought like Charty Berry, Avalanche, Avalug, or Rocky Helmet, Alomomola. Did he bring Rocky Helmet and Alomomola? I know he brought Alomomola, but
I don't think
Charty Berry, Avalug could have been a thing.
Yeah, I think there was a couple of things. I mean, Avalug is so bulky, it definitely could have been used as a kind of bait for that, a lure for that. But yeah, there was a couple of things I think he could have done, but I don't think that as well. Leading Infernape, if you're that worried about a setup Mega Aero, is really the right thing to do if you then are going to lose your Scarf Infernape turn 1 to counter it, because that was his only form of speed control on a really slow team. So once he lost the Infernape, he just was... It felt like his team was just sitting ducks for any pieces of Uzi's offense because he just had no speed at all. And so I felt like he really needed to pick his lead more carefully to prevent that arrow setting up and not force a kind of checkmate situation turn 1 almost. It was really tough for him. He did have some Nice prep on Uzi's side to really apply the pressure, though. Metronome Kieran was really nice. I think if it had been sub, because the only way that Joe actually was able to check the Kieran was with Toxic Loma Mola. I think had it been sub Metronome Kieran, which it may well have been, I don't know, because obviously Uzi hasn't uploaded his side yet. Had he subbed when the Aloe went for Toxic, then I think that was a wrap. I think that was a 6-0 from there on. I don't think anything was happening. Anything could stop.
Yeah, I mean, a 5-0, like, Uzi definitely is still going to take a 5-0 victory here just because he needs all the differential he can get for the playoff push, which he's still very much alive for. I think he is... He's 5-6 now. Yes, he was 4-6 coming into the battle. Now he's 5-6. So
right. So one last win could see him break even and really make a push here. But in general, I just thought that Uzi's prep was fantastic. He brought Swords Dance Mien Shao, which picked up a couple of KOs, I think, and was able to baton pass into the Mega Aero for the final kill as well. And it was just one of those games where I felt like Joe Dog perhaps has less to play for, didn't put quite as much time into prep maybe, and Uzi is going all out to win and win big every week, and it really showed here.
Yeah, I mean, he might be... Some people might not like that Uzi is trying to get as much differential as he has, but when you start 0-5 minus 20 as a replacement coach, yeah, you kind of need to do everything you possibly can to get every differential point that you can get.
Yeah, 100%. You've got to just go for big wins every week and hope you can make a push for playoffs. And if anyone can, it seems like Uzi's going to do it. So, credit to him for keeping this run going.
That's too sweet, man. That's too sweet. Uzi will understand the reference, and any wrestling fan would understand the reference. But anyway, let's transition into the next game we're going to cover, and that's going to be the Adelaide Honchos, coached by Bill Standish, facing the Maryland Torterrapins, coached by Under the Radar. I believe Kelly had already clinched a playoff spot for this, and Bill's still trying to make or secure a spot, I believe, correctly, right?
Yeah, I think Bill took over Game Boy Luke's team, which had a decent record. I think it was around breaking even when he took over, so I think he definitely wanted to put together some wins to try and make playoffs. But Bill being Bill is doing it the hard way, it seems.
Yeah, Bill likes bringing some heat sets. I know he brought Focus Band Primarina here. He brought Fling Light Ball Whimsicott just to paralyze everything, which it did work. He paralyzed the Superior with a nuisance, and it paralyzed Mesprit as well. And there's a lot of... Callie got hacked pretty badly. He got fully paralyzed like 3 or 4 times out of 4 or 5 times in a row or something like that. When Mesprit was in, not like straight turns, but when Mesprit was in, he couldn't get rocks up very efficiently because he kept getting fully paralyzed, and that just like kind of set him back a little bit. But in the long game or in the end game, like Darmanitan just did Darmanitan things. I think it's Kelly's kill leader for a reason. I think it's got like 14 kills on the season or something like that. But Scarf Darmanitan just came in and destroyed Tentacruel, Landorus, and what was the last mon it destroyed? I think there was a third mon it destroyed too, if I remember correctly. Did it pick up
the Primarina KO? I can't quite remember.
No, Zyger did with extreme speed. No, Darm picked up the kill on Whimsicott earlier. That's what I'm thinking of. It clicked U-turn. Bill sacked it off, and hindsight's 2020. Bill didn't really think that he should have sacked it off, which makes sense because he could have stun spored the Darmanitan and actually just beat it.
Yeah,
if he didn't sack it off, he could have sacked off something else instead and been able to more efficiently knock it out, because I think he sacked it off against the Darmanitan because he instead of... Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Sorry for the abrupt thing. Obviously it's gonna be instant for you where it's just a cut, but yeah, I had to go answer my door. So anyway, what was I saying about this game now?
About Bill second off his Darmanitan, how he could have used the stun spore to slow down... Sorry, Bill second off his Whimsicott, he could have used the stun spore to slow down the Darmanitan. I think you're right. I think getting that speed control on Darmanitan for the late game would have been really, really valuable. But as you say, Kelly's Darmanitan's his kill leader for a reason. He's been positioning it really, really carefully and really well in most games this season.
Exactly. Okay, yes, that's what I was trying to get at. But yeah, it was still really annoying. The sub freeze dry HP ground Articuno was pretty good on Bill's part, and also the Assault Vest Electivire for the Alolan Raichu was incredible prep as well on Bill's part. But Callie just brought really good stats like he's been doing all season, and he's in the playoffs guaranteed for a reason. So I think we can transition to one of your games next. if you want.
Yes, so my next game to talk about is Envy versus Elliott. Speaking of kind of heat sets and stuff, Bill obviously has been bringing the heat this season, but Envy's kind of known for that. And this game was a little bit more standard, really. This game felt like a very kind of classic offense versus offense as the San Diego Chargers took on the Chicago Cub Chews. Envy traded his Mega Sceptile turn 1 to get big chip off on the Scolipede, recognizing that Scolipede is just such a huge threat to kind of offensive builds and how much work it could do against his team. He was happy just to get damage on that. Then he brought in the Azu to click Aquajet, which scared out the Scolipede. And in general was able to just pivot around really well after that. He used his 50% Berry Rotom really, really effectively because Elliott was in this position where he was really afraid to kind of bring in his Garchomp, Mega Garchomp on the Rotom because he didn't want to get burnt, he didn't want to take the Will-O-Wisp. And so that meant that Rotom could keep coming in on things like the Scolipede and just click Volt Switch as it picked up the KO there. Elliott did bring good prep and brought the Throat Chop for the Rotom, but with the EVs that Envy had and the 50% Berry, it netted about 0 damage on the Rotom. It really didn't get a lot of chip off, and then Rotom, as I say, picked up the KO, and it was just able to pivot around really effectively in the early game. Elliott did make a good play going into his Girder to get that thing burnt and get the Guts boost, but then he kind of stayed in too long clicking Bulk Up when he should have just prioritized damage, I feel.
He made a good play predicting Will-O-Wisp to get the Guts boost, and then he clicks Bulk Up the very next turn, which is kind of like... Envy didn't really need Rotom at that point, so I guess
agree.
like why try to set up in that juncture?
Yeah.
Like if he didn't set up right there, he could have just knocked out the Rotom without losing so much health on Girder.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I think that would have helped him maybe swing the momentum a little bit back in his favor, because at that point, I really felt like Envy had been on the front foot. Like I said, his Rotom just keeping momentum so early in the game, but that kind of put him on the back foot again, and in the end, it came down to a really close game. With Envy just using Azu and Drapion basically to chip everything down and put everything in range of the special Victini, which had like Psychic, Glaciate and stuff to hit the Mega Chomp and everything else. And it was just able to pick up the KO on the man time. Mega Chomp barely lived, hanging on about 1 HP I think, but Scarf Ditto in the back was able to revenge kill and pick up the last KO. I think even if he hadn't gone for the Bulk Up on the Girder with the Rotom out, I don't know if Elliott necessarily would have been able to handle the Scarf Ditto in the late game. I do think that it was just a really good bring against Elliott's team. His team being very, very offensive really did struggle with any kind of threat getting scarfed back against himself. So yeah, it was just one of those where it was a really entertaining game, very short, lots of sacks, but both players just playing offensively and playing well, I thought.
Yeah, I really liked. I believe it was a Saltvest Azumarill to deal with the Chandelure, right?
Yeah, to catch that Scarf Chandelure, which did get 2 Spadef drops in a row. So I don't know why Elliott's feeding that Chandelure, but it obviously likes him. Although it didn't actually matter in the grand scheme of things.
Absolutely. It was just a very well played game, and like had he not clicked Bulk Up with the Girder, the game probably would have been even closer than it was, because it was only a 1-0 victory. But it's still like he would have had a better chance to win overall.
Yeah,
if he did not make the Bulk Up play. But anyway, let's transition to the 4th game we're going to be covering today, and that will be Kyle A and the Miami Dolphins taking on Old Man Top and the Pittsburgh Piratas. A very fun game. Kyle brought the heatest of heat sets, and it worked to perfection. He brought Partial Berry, Whirlpool, Disabled, Nidoqueen with Seismic Toss to 1v1 on Rotom Launch. Turn 1, and it worked out to perfection.
I think that might be the kind of heatest set we've seen all season. I haven't seen much else going for that. I mean, it was a strange set, but it really worked. I didn't think, even when he explained what the set was, I had my doubts that it would even function as he expected, but it did. It really did.
Yeah, it survived a Hydro Pump into another Hydro Pump so it could disable, and then Rotom Launch was literally 1v1. Yeah, and there's nothing that Rotom could have done, even had because it had Volt Switch, Hydro Pump, Defog, and probably Pain Split, but Pain Split didn't matter at that point because Nidoqueen was already so low.
Yeah, exactly. So it really was just completely trapped in and 1v1 by the Nidoqueen, which I think if you recognize something as being such a big threat to your team, then just being able to trade 1-for-1 can be worth it like that sometimes.
Yeah, because Rotom literally walled Nidoqueen, Volcanion for the most part, unless it was like Z Solar Beam. It walled Mega Pidgeot. It walled so many things on Kyle's team, especially like the mods that he brought, like that he needed to bring some kind of crazy set, and he did, and it worked out really, really well. Also, and then so basically after that, it was kind of a back and forth game. Kyle basically he was trying to prevent setup with like Musharna and Zardex and everything. Musharna did start getting set up, but he did unfortunately get a poison on it, or toxic poison on it, because there's a big difference between the two. And it wore down the Musharna a lot, and then he ended up missing a Diamond Storm, which the 95 accuracy moves do not like Kyle A apparently very much. And we're only going to be talking about this from Kyle A's perspective, because Old Man Tep unfortunately did not upload his side. So yeah, we're going to only talk about from Kyle A's perspective. Musharna did get worn down, did go down, and then because he brought a mixed weakness policy Flame Charge Volcanion, which is really cool from Kyle as well. So he knocks out the Musharna with the Flare Blitz. Then in comes the Tyranitar. Goes for the Steam Eruption Burn, because we did learn it was an Assault Vest Tyranitar based on the damage from Pidgeot earlier in the game. And we knew it was Assault Vest, so he did get the burn. Top one for the Rock Slide. Popped the weakness policy. And then he was at +1, and then he goes for a Steam Eruption, which would have killed because it was at +2/+2. And unfortunately, he misses another 95 accuracy move, and then Tup goes for an Earthquake because he didn't want to miss, I think. Or does he go for back-to-back Rock Slides at that point? I can't remember.
I think he went for another Rock Slide.
Yeah, so he goes for that, and then Sand damage is unfortunately up, so after 2 more rounds of Sand damage and the Rock Slide / Earthquake damage, Volcanion actually does go down. It does take down T-Tar with it, but unfortunately, if he didn't miss that Steam Eruption, Kyle would have been in a really good position. Like, sure, Klefki could have came in and potentially Thunderwave, but like that would have been another mon that Kyle just brings down. And if he didn't bring Thunderwave Klefki, it was pretty much a wrap at that point. Like, unless he was Scarf Roserade, which I don't ever think we learned in the game, he potentially could have been. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back again with yet another interruption. My roommate literally came in the room, did not realize I was recording, but we're back. I'll cut that out too. We're fine.
We'll keep it rolling. Overall, definitely unfortunate by Kyle there, but then there's an argument that he did get the burn initially on the T-Tar, which really helped him even set up that kind of win con in the first place. So,
he did. However, he did bring Cycle Shift Flame Orb Cresselia to burn the T-Tar, so he could set up later.
Yeah, which was a really, really cool set. Really, again, another creative set. This week was definitely one where his heat looked a little bit more effective than usual, but unfortunately, it still wasn't quite enough, was it?
No. Late game, Top basically got Dragon Dance Zardex off. I think he got a +2, and he ended up just winning, beating the Cresselia, beating the Kingdra, and beating the Mega Pidgeot. So that was unfortunate, but Zardex does Zardex things. You basically don't have to run. I mean, there's a lot of Zardex sets you can run. You can bring Bulky with the Will-O-Wisp Roost. You can bring Dragon Dance. You can bring Swords Dance. There's quite a bit of different Zardex sets you can run, but I mean, Dragon Dance usually seems to be the best, and that's what Tup's liked a lot this season.
Yeah, and if it continues to put in work, then you can't really fault it.
No, absolutely not. But I think we can talk about the last game we're going to be covering today.
Yeah, so the final game we have is the Sin City Sizzles, coached by Patty Tros, taking on Mewtwo fan Nate and his New York Noibats, I believe it is. And this was another really interesting game, with Patty, for me, being the surprise package of the season. He seemed to I remember game 1, first week of the season, he played Gator and picked up a win there. And he's just gone from strength to strength throughout the season, and has really, really impressed me. And again, picking up a 4-0 win here. Wasn't that against Gator? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think that was probably.
Has Gator even lost since then?
No, Gator's won every game since then. He's beat MV, he's beaten everyone else in the division since then. Yeah, so it's been a fascinating season by Patty. But again, picking up another 4-0 win here was really, really nice for him. There were some kind of interesting early game plays. So Patty led off with his Scarf Infernape and clicked Ice Punch on the Swallow without running Calcs, kind of expecting it to kill. And
you mean
Nate.
Primeape?
Yeah, sorry, Primate. Did I say Infernape?
I was like, I thought you said Infernape. Yeah, I was like, did you combine? I was like, huh?
When I was making my notes for this game, I even wrote down Infernape and then had to cross it out. So I'm not surprised if I did say that. But yeah, sorry, he clicked Ice Punch with his Primate and got big chip up on the Swallow. But I think Nate, expecting him to either U-turn or not stay in, just went for the workup. I think both of them kind of misplayed here. I think had it been Scarf Stone Edge on the Primate, then that would have killed Swallow. And Nate would have just thrown away Swallow for no reason. But also, because Ice Punch never KO'd the Swallow, I'm not sure that Patty did make the right decision.
Wasn't close combat just better? Close combat would have potentially
I
KO
think it
Swallow.
does. I was going to say, I think it does more anyway. Yeah, I'm not
Yeah, it
entirely
does.
sure
It does
on the
180 power compared to 150.
There you go. Then that might have just KO'd anyway. It was just it was very odd by both sides early game there. And then there was another play where Nate, I believe he U-turned with his Hydreigon on an Incineroar. I think he brought the Hydreigon in on the Incineroar and then just U-turned out, perhaps trying to bluff like an Earth Power or something like that, scare out the Incineroar. U-turned out into his Dusknoir, I'm pretty sure if I remember this correctly, but I know that he took a big knockoff on switching from the Incineroar. I guess he was trying
he did.
Trying to predict maybe fighting coverage or something like that, but it just was one of these very high risk, low reward plays to go into Dusknoir there. I felt like maybe he could have gone into Steelix and pivoted, because I don't think he was ever clicking a fire move into Hydreigon, but I think knockoff was always possible if you want to get rid of Hydreigon's Scarf, if you want to get rid of his specs, leftovers, whatever. Hydreigon's item can be so pivotal to whatever set it's running that I completely understood the kind of knockoff play, and I think that maybe Nate had to be aware of it. So yeah, early game, Nate really just got a couple of things wrong, put him on the back foot early. Patty kind of maintained the offensive pressure, but then Patty very nearly lost the game, as once again he had his Infernape in against the Hydreigon. Not his Infernape, goodness, his Primeape in against the Hydreigon. And rather than clicking close combat, he decided to choice himself into Ice Punch, fearing that the Dusknoir could come in again. The reason that I thought this was kind of poor play on his end was it let the Cloyster into Shell Smash for free, knowing that he was choice locked into the Ice Punch. Cloyster could always Shell Smash, and at that point, had it been a speed boosting nature on the Cloyster, then it just won the game. It just swept Patty's whole team. And Patty's kind of reasoning.
He was adamant or lonely or,
right,
or
exactly.
rash or mild or something. He was not of speed racing nature, which allowed Patty's Scarfed Raichu to come in and clean it up.
Yeah, and I think that Patty's kind of first instinct of, I don't want to close combat because it lets in the Dusknoir, I think that's the kind of thing that the more you play, the more you realize that
it could have been a speed tie, realistically.
I don't, without knowing the sets.
Yeah, because I don't, no idea. Hold on, did Patty actually upload his team
Patty said that if it was a fast... He did say his speed. I can't remember what he said his speed was, but he basically said if it had any speed boosting nature, then it would more than likely outspeed.
Okay, yeah, because he didn't run max speed Raichu. He only ran 160. He ran a timid 164, which got him to 166 speed. He didn't run max speed Raichu, so if he ran max speed Raichu, that was a speed tie with +2 Cloyster.
Yeah, so it could have been very interesting, but no, because he didn't have that and it wasn't a boost nature Cloyster, was fine. But yeah, as I was saying, I think that his decision to Ice Punch when the Dusknoir wasn't really a threat to his team, I felt like he either should have just U-turned or close combat. If the Dusknoir came in, at least the Cloyster doesn't set up and sweep you. So maybe that's something that he can kind of look back at and can take into playoffs, because it does look like he's going to be going into playoffs with the run that he's had, the season that he's had. And I think he's been constantly improving all season. I've been really, really impressed. So as you say, the Raichu was
he's
able
had some
to
ups
just
and downs
kill the
too.
Cloyster.
Like I know the Joder game was pretty rough for him.
Yeah, definitely.
There's some other games that are rough, but overall, as long as he can win like one more for sure, he should be making playoffs. One more will confirm it, but he needs. Well, I mean, he could still win if he loses. He still can make playoffs if he loses out at 7-6. But obviously, you want to win one more just to guarantee that. I'm not sure what his rest of his schedule is looking like or anything like that, but he should be one of the 7 playoff teams from the Shield division.
Yeah, I would expect so too, and that to me, like I say, I wasn't necessarily expecting that. He was one of the coaches I knew the least about this season, seemed to be one of the less experienced players, but yeah, he's done really, really well, and full credit to him. Tough week again for Nate. I think Nate will be disappointed with the way this game went. Maybe he could have prepped a little bit better, having the faster Cloyster, but I think ultimately his early plays where he just got a lot of decisions wrong, leaving things in or switching into wrong mons, really cost him, and he couldn't really get a foothold in the game after that. He was very dependent on the reverse sweep from Cloyster.
Yeah, 100%. He's been loving Cloyster all season. He's brought like Shell Smash Cloyster probably like half of his games at least, I think. Something like that.
Yeah, it's come a lot, yeah.
Hey, it's netted him a lot of KOs, so like, can you really argue with something that's not broke? If it ain't broke, don't try to fix it.
Yeah, of course, absolutely.
But yeah, I think that'll cover the 5 games that were uploaded for Well, it was 10 games total, but 5 games that we're going to be covering today. Like we said, we're sorry that we couldn't cover Fanatax versus Leo and Gator versus Cybertron. Those games just weren't uploaded. We can't just wait around all week for it because we have jobs, we have lives to live, so we can't unfortunately just do that. But anyway, yeah, I think that'll cover all the games this week. Make sure you check out everyone in the description down below to their YouTubes, all the analysts and coaches. It's been a terrific season, and we still got a couple more weeks and playoffs left.
Yeah, absolutely. I really hope we can keep doing this for playoffs because it's just been a blast. I've loved every minute of it.
Same here, man. Anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. Take care. Peace.